qualities that this world without boundaries demands. Youth and drive, diversity and openness, an endless capacity for risk, and a gift for reinvention. My fellow Americans, we are made for this moment, and we will seize it so long as we seize it together.
Is what we've been taught to believe, but don't you be deceived. Oh yeah,
for we, the people, understand that our country cannot succeed when a shrinking few do very well and a growing many barely make it. We, the people, still believe that every citizen deserves a basic measure of security and dignity. We,
look around you and you see the many faces.
Still believe that our obligations as Americans are not just to ourselves, but to all posterity. We, still believe that enduring security and lasting peace do not require perpetual war. We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truth, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still, just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.
Constantly remind us of the one life that we are. Let's love and celebrate. Love and celebrate.
Oh yeah. Oh, quiet yourselves down. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. Oh yeah. Woo! Oh, we are one indeed. What's up, my people? Yay! Oh, welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all quiet yourselves down. Oh, yeah. Welcome to Let's Talk About It, Spreaker's most informative show throughout the Dad Burn Net. Welcome, y'all. I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, and joining me to talk about it, let's talk about it, joining me to talk about it is my beautiful niece, the uppity and well-read Jackie Lambert, aka Miss Uppity Speaks, and we are ready to talk about it. And as you know, Jackie has chosen another great subject. She ain't cussing them tonight, but it's good. It's us and them. The monkeys like it, I like it. Oh, yes, indeed. Okay, Jackie, so we are here. We are ready to talk about it. And I'm sorry, let me interrupt myself and say, as you know, and I have to give my shout out to my girl, Brenda Lee Ager, for our theme song, We Are One. It's just fitting. It's fitting. Okay, Jackie, so we got a whole bunch to talk about tonight, of course. Never again will I say, after an election, we ain't going to have nothing to talk about. Our Republican brethren are losing it. Glenn Beck claims that the GOP is dead. He had a body on the table today on his show and covered them up. He said they dead. I mean, they are coming unglued, Jackie. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And today we have coming out a shooter. You know, shooter ain't got no business having nothing against gun laws. After shooting his friend in the face, but he's out running his mouth today. We got, oh, Jackie, I just listened and heard about this. This was amazing. The Sandy 36.
I'm sorry?
The Sandy 36. I'm on my 30-minute rant, y'all. You know, I get to rant the first part of the show. The Sandy 36, Jackie, are a bunch of Republican senators who voted no on disaster relief funds.
Oh, yeah.
For the Hurricane Sandy victims. But 31 of this 36 had just like 3-4 days before had just asked for money for their states, but don't want to give the Sandy folks none.
Now, Brenda, you know, I already wrote about that.
Oh, sorry.
You know.
These Republicans, these bastards is amazing.
Well, that's absolutely true.
Might I say. Okay, so I'm trying to get my rant out before Jackie lays down the show schedule tonight that she holds me to. You know, that's kind of her job. She's supposed to like make me like walk the line and act like the big TV and radio stations and follow her lead, follow the order of the schedule. All right, so I've already said it's us and them. And we is us and they is them, and we don't like them bastards. I've tried, Jack. I've tried so hard. I thought after the election that I would, send for all my Republican friends, tell them to come on back into the fold. They ain't got to be mad. But I'm telling you, all of them that was talking shits to us on Facebook and jumping in there, I don't see none of them. They don't even say hi to me.
Well, they're depressed. And, you know, since the great Glenn Beck has declared the death of the Republican Party.
Yes, he did.
Which I still am not quite sure that I get why he would say that. I mean, the Republican Party is definitely dying, but it ain't dead yet.
Well,
and I have, you know, some news I want to talk about on that. And you started out really great, Brenda, even though I didn't send you a show schedule. I just want everybody to understand that I'm
psychic.
Sending Brenda a show schedule because it's pointless.
I love it. If y'all did not hear Jackie, she said she stopped sending me a show schedule because it's pointless. And you know, y'all, she's right. Because I can hardly stick with that thing. But this is Let's Talk About It, ain't it? And when stuff go off in my head, I have to talk about it. When I think of something that I forgot, and damn, what else? Let me tell you what else these bastards did this week. They are just amazing. They are operating on their own ass.
Well, you know.
And the surgery is not going successfully.
See, and this is what I'm talking about, everybody. See, we were talking about the death of the Republican Party, and I mean, like, here we go. You know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay, so let us discuss.
Wait, I thought I had a rant. It's only 9 after 9. I haven't ranted yet.
Well, you want to start the show ranting?
Yeah. Jack, okay, let me welcome to the chat room Dave the Rave Capers. I lost my wig and my pantyhose over there on that Burn Razor Blade Express just before the show. Let me shout out to my girl Love Muffins all the way in Ohio, where she's still trying to keep that thing warm. Trying to shut that thing down and keep it warm. And Wildcat, whom I call Catman, Wildcat Radio up in Alabama. He wrote Jackie in the chat room as he's listening to you. She won't mind nobody, Jackie. And you are cut off, Catman. You do not come in here and talk about my
Catman.
ass.
Finally, somebody who has some for what I go through. Okay, finally. Somebody.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I go through.
And y'all, you know, I didn't know why she wasn't sending me the show schedule no more. She just claiming it wasn't ready. And now she has come on here and confessed. She won't send me one because I don't pay attention to it. I don't stay on schedule. That's all right, damn it. Okay, I'm through ranting until I think of another rant.
Well, I'm gonna give you something to rant about right now.
Okay, give it to me, Jackie.
Okay. On Friday, Fox News severed its relationship with Sarah the Divine Palin.
Oh my goodness! What you said?
Oh, I thought you had heard that. That was news, baby. a couple of days ago.
You know what? I think I did hear it, but I hadn't slept in about 3-4 days. I thought I was dreaming and wishing for it.
Yeah.
Not that I watch it.
Yeah, you did not hallucinate that. That was not a dream. The Divine Sarah is off of Fox News. And
well, did they say why?
Well, nobody really said. They said that her contract had come up, and Mr. Roger Ailes, the guy who runs Fox News,
yes,
he wanted to give her a significant pay cut. And she, like, no. I mean, somebody's paying you $1 million a year for 2 minutes work every other week.
Well, now her reputation was she didn't do much work before she came here.
Yeah, exactly. So, given that, apparently they parted companies, they say amicably, but of course, Miss Sarah being who she is, she's already started talking about him.
Okay, Jackie, honestly, I did hear that, but it didn't surprise me, and I didn't follow up on it or anything because I don't know why they hired a dumb ass in the first place.
Well, because in the first place, she was someone who the base loved, and she would move the ratings.
Oh, yes. That's right. Let's not forget about their asses. That's why they hired her dumb ass in the first place. They didn't care that she was dumb and that everything comes out of her mouth is dumber. They just wanted the ratings.
Well, but Brenda, I mean, if you look at the talking heads on Fox News and all of that other stuff, of course, that's what they do. I mean, all they do on Fox News, they're shit starters.
That's all they are. Jackie, it's amazing you said that because just today I was watching my favorite news shows, my favorite show, my TV stays on MSNBC 24 hours a day. And then every now and then I will go to my DVR recordings and watch something that I wanted to see, but I can't turn away from MSNBC. And it's just amazing. They're all just nipping at each other's heels, just like a cat dog, little chihuahua or something. They just talking about each other, and that's why. I mean, what is happening to them? They're coming unglued.
Well, I think that one of the reasons that the Republicans are coming unglued is because you're beginning to see the American population in general kind of moving away from them.
Yeah, I think
and since we're talking about Fox News, let me just go ahead and drop this on you.
Okay.
At the end of each month, the cable news ratings are released to the public, and Fox News dominates the cable news rating. They usually dominate the top 13 or so programs. But this year, in January, it was a little different. Even though Fox News still had 9 of the top 10 shows, the number 10 show in January was none other than our own wonderful Rachel Maddow.
Yes, indeed.
And also, the other thing about the ratings as they came out is that Fox's demographics are looking worse and worse and worse. That they had their worst primetime ratings in the group between 25 and 54 in that demographic since 2001. And they had their lowest total day rating since 2008. Yeah,
well, everybody is... I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, their ratings are, really slipping. And MSNBC's ratings are continuing to go up.
Well, because MSNBC is a credible a source of information and news. They're credible. Right. I mean, I don't understand how anybody watched Fox in the first place. I said last week that my son and he was in the hospital for 4 days after the vicious pit bull attack.
Yes.
And they had limited channels in the hospital. And Fox was one of the channels that they had. And I had never watched it in my life. And when Sean Hannity or somebody's face was on, No, it was that little twerp, O'Reilly. Mm-hmm. The one that's an immigrant, an alien. That's calling everybody else an immigrant and an alien.
Yes.
O'Reilly is not
an American. He calls them illegals and aliens.
Yeah, illegals and aliens. O'Reilly is not an American name. You and your mammy or your mammy's mammy or somebody immigrated to this country.
Yeah, and now you're just skipping on to the next topic.
I'm sorry. Am I psychic? Okay, but anyway, I was watching that on TV, and I watched him, Jackie, I think all of 2 minutes, when I said, oh my God, Dennis, where is the remote? I can't watch it. I can't watch this foolishness. So there's a reason that the survey was done, and it was proven that watching Fox News makes you stupid. They are not a credible, source of
well, no,
information.
I mean the thing that really hurt Fox News was simply their election coverage on election night. What hurt not Fox News was all the crap they were doing prior to the presidential election, and then election night rolls around, and everybody in the country learns that all the stuff they were telling them for the last year and a half was bullshit.
Yeah, and they were giving a bunch of angry old white men all this money to come up with not jack shit.
Exactly.
They were wrong on every count, on all the polls, trying to hype their listeners up. He's gonna win, and he's gonna win by a landslide. Romney's gonna win, and the Obama people aren't gonna know what hit them, and la 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 la. And then it comes, oh, what? Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
They were paying a whole bunch of money, Jackie, to nothing but a bunch of losers.
Yeah. Well,
nobody told them the truth.
That Fox specializes in telling
falsehoods,
angry white people what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Whether it's true or not.
And the other thing that has been proven, Jackie, and I believe Rachel did this, you know how Rachel is about grabbing those facts.
Yeah.
And she proved that they're doing nothing but taking advantage of their poor white brethren and sisters' hatred for Obama and making money off of them.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I have even thought myself about writing an ebook, that shows how Obama's daddy is really the devil and he's the Antichrist.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I'd make a fortune right now.
You'd make a fortune right now. All we got to do is say
but the thing of it is that I just couldn't bring myself to do it.
No, we can't bring ourselves to do it, but boy.
I know it's not true.
Yeah, I mean, all we got to do is just say it, and the angry white men will flock to us. We could have a show on Fox.
That crap, just like that movie 2016. I mean, they just make stuff up.
Yeah, just make shit up.
And because it's what these people want to hear, or also it is because what these folks are fearful of.
Yeah.
That's what they go with.
Dave the Raven Catman are going crazy in the chat room talking about Fox, and Dave said he predicted 6 weeks ago that Fox was going to clean house if they want to be considered a credible.
Well, they are, and there are some changes going on.
Yeah.
Over at Fox, and they're trying to make it less not so noticeable. But oh, sweetie, we noticed.
Yeah, we noticed, and I mean I was wondering when they were going to get rid of their psychic, Glenn Beck.
Oh, I know.
That boy was out there on the limb. I said, whatever he's smoking or taking, I don't want none of that shit.
Yeah, well, yeah. Certainly, yeah.
He was seeing subliminal messages on the building outside.
Oh, I know, sweetie.
I mean, in your Fox building, subliminal messages.
Oh, sweetie, I know. But, the point with Fox, okay, and with the Republican Party is, first of all, they're pretty much the same thing.
Yes, they are.
That's the first. They're pretty much the same thing. And that Fox is thrown in with the Republican Party, and the party has gone along with Fox, and, now the tail is wagging the dog, so to speak.
Yes, okay, Jackie. I don't feel sorry for them, but I'm still scratching my head because every day they are constantly talking like they've got this plan, you know, to win from now on. And they continue to talk about changing their tone.
Yes. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Am I stepping on you?
No.
Oh, I thought I was stepping on you again, because I always do.
All right. Go ahead.
They continue to talk about changing their tone. Yeah. Our message didn't lose. It was the tone of our message. No, son, bitch, your message lost. Yeah. Your message, your tone, your angry old faces.
Yes. Now,
that's
let me give you an example.
What cost you the election.
Okay. All right. Now, let me give you an example of that, okay? Because I saw this last week. You know, last week the Republicans had their winter meeting, the Republican National Committee. And Reince Priebus.
His name sounds like a little wimp-ass name, don't it?
I know. Their chairman, he gave a speech after he was reelected to be chairman for another 2 years. And I find it absolutely impossible to believe that they fired Michael Steele after Michael Steele raised more money and they took back the House of Representatives.
And their ratings were better than gonorrhea.
Right. And syphilis. They took over the Senate, you know, but they fired Michael Steele's ass. Mm-hmm. But Reince Priebus, who his tenure at the RNC has been nothing short of disastrous, he gets reelected.
And got them 1 percentage point above gonorrhea in people liking them. And they reelected. So you can see that, Jackie, that they haven't...
No. Stop.
What?
Stop. I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
But I have to tell you something. No. Because I have got to give you the best example of this.
Okay.
So after Mr. Priebus was reelected, he spoke to all those assembled at their winter meeting. Mm-hmm. And he talked about how the Republicans need to stop talking about reaching out to other people and actually welcome in a broad diversity of people.
Get the fuck out of here.
And that fool went on to talk about how President Obama has failed blacks and Latinos by keeping us all on the public dole. Brenda, I said to myself, these fools will never get it.
They will never get it, Jackie.
Live, because in Republican world, every black and brown person
is on food stamps.
Is on food stamps and welfare, and it's all President Obama's fault. It's like this boy. I mean, Brenda, I was watching this speech, and when he started on that, I just look. If I could have reached through the TV and just popped him right in his eye, I would have done that.
Jackie, they don't understand. They really don't. And as they sit and try to tell one another, now Reince Priebus, Grover Norquist, they're all Romney wasn't elected because he a poo-poo head. No, he wasn't elected because he was so afraid to say the things that he really believed in. He said what y'all wanted him to say. And all of y'all get together and tell him to say that shit and talk about eating them and killing them. And he did that shit. And y'all's message, that's what y'all wanted him to send out. And he sent it out.
Yeah.
And it did not work. Not only that, but they were sending it out. They weren't waiting for him to speak.
Oh, yeah.
They were sending it out. The news crews were just coming up asking him, well, what do you think about what Reince Priebus said? Oh, he's fine guy. Okay, well, that means you believe what he said, okay?
Yeah, well, and you know, the thing about it is simply this, that they are not going to do any better until they get it. Now, I also wanted to point out...
And they don't get it, Jackie. They really don't get it. I wonder... if they're all some kind of in a society of brainwashed food, I don't know.
Oh, sweetie, oh Lord,
I don't know. They
just killing me.
Yeah, it's amazing, and every time I see it, I always catch myself just saying, "What the fuck? Didn't y'all just learn nothing?"
You know, and it's like until you stop making those assumptions.
Yeah, they just got their asses skull drugged, Jackie, not 3 months ago, and they still don't get it. They right back here talking about that shit and calling the Mexican, Hispanic, Irish, anybody that's illegals.
Yes.
I'm going to say it again. There is no black and white folks that's going to pick cucumbers and pick strawberries, and they're not going to do it. These people have a something in them about working. You know, Jackie, and it's not sitting up there on Wall Street getting drinks and shit. These people work.
Yes, they do.
And the Republicans, all they want to do is hire them off the book. I mean, Romney all but told us, Jackie, when the Republican primary was going on, when he said, I can't have illegals working for me. I told him. So you knew, you had illegals working for you all along.
Yes.
That's how you get to pay such little rate.
Yes.
Because you got illegals.
Yes, Brenda.
And now that you're running for president, I told him I can't have illegals working for me. I always found that statement to be just a real truth teller, Jackie.
Yes.
That he knew he had illegals working for him all these years.
Yes.
I called my gardener and I told him I can't have illegals working for me. I don't know if anybody else caught that when he said it, but they're not happy about this immigration thing because they want to keep them illegals so they can pay cheap house keepers and cheap gardeners and cheap whatever else. They're the ones who hire them all.
Yeah, that's true.
They're amazing. Okay, Jackie, let's go with our subject tonight before we take a break and let everybody know what they're coming back to. We've been ranting.
Wait a second. I still have one other thing that I wanted to point out about this.
Okay.
You know, I usually peruse the New York Times every morning, you know, their website.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to point out to everybody that today, David Brooks, who is a conservative columnist for the Times, has a really good column called A Second GOP.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And as we were talking about the death of the Republican Party, what David Brooks talks about is in this column is pretty much that on the surface, the Republicans are starting to change their party. But if you look at what they are doing, they're not changing a single thing. And he says that change is hard because people don't only think on the surface level. Deep down, people have mental maps of reality, embedded sets of assumptions, narratives, and terms that organize thinking. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The core problem of American life is that voracious government has been steadily encroaching upon individuals and local communities. And if that is the Republican narrative, which it is, then they're not going to make it in the United States, because why on earth would anyone trust you to govern if you think that government is the problem?
And Jackie, it's very obvious. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay. The next problem with this mentality is that it makes it hard for Republicans to actually analyze social and economic problems that don't flow directly from big government.
Mm-hmm.
For example, we are now at the end of the era in which a rising tide lifts all boats. Republicans like Mitt Romney can talk about improving the overall business climate with lower taxes and lighter regulation, but regular voters sense that that won't necessarily help them because wages no longer keep pace with productivity gains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so he asked the question if the current Republicans can change their underlying mentality to adapt to these realities. And he says intellectual history says no.
Mm-hmm.
So what is his answer? There needs to be a second GOP.
Oh, Lord.
That wouldn't be based on the encroachment story of big government.
Okay, Glenn Beck is trying to start the progressive GOP. So, and he wants...
Beck spell progressive? I mean, does he know what that word means?
I doubt it, Jackie. But he buried them today. They're dead, and he's starting the progressive GOP.
I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
This is amazing. I heard him speak one time, and that was when he was flipping out and seeing the subliminal messages on the Rockefeller building outside. And,
yeah, that's where NBC News and MSNBC are.
Yes. And shortly after that, he was let go. But he wants to be the leader of something.
Well, you know, he styles himself as kind of a self-styled prophet or something.
Yeah, he does.
Like, really, he's really weird. And, you know, like the stuff he likes to always talk about, the Nazis and the Islamic Caliphate. And
yeah, and I lost a whole lot of respect for Martin Luther King's daughter when she spoke at his rally.
I still don't even understand.
Yeah, I don't get that at all. And you know, Jackie, there are white folks that continually say that Martin Luther King was Republican. He would be. Keep Martin Luther King's name out your mouth.
Yes.
Crazy ass Republicans. There is no way that Martin Luther King would be on your side.
And not only that, when they say stuff like that, they know it's offensive.
Yeah, and shit. I mean, Colin Powell is a Republican, and he didn't quit voting for your asses. Martin would be right in lockstep with him.
Yeah.
So, you know, if Colin don't like your own ass and you his family, then, I mean, really, yeah, it is offensive, Jackie, because when they do that, it really pisses me off. And for his daughter to participate in that, they must have offered her a lot of money.
I don't know what could have possessed her to do that, but it was very
because you're not bringing them together. I mean, you're going to go to a meeting where signs of Barack is of Hitler and Stalin and you know, oh, come on. I could never stand before that. Like you said, Jackie, we could make so much money. All we got to do is talk about Barack and his monkeysm, where he came from, shucking and jiving and shit. And we would be rich.
We could make a fortune.
Yeah, they love the hatred thing. So, but until that, well, we know that's never going to happen. But let me say this to you. You are listening to Let's Talk About It, Spreaker's most informative political talk show. I am the wild and wonderful Brenda White, and joining me to talk about it is the uppity and well-read Jackie Lambert, aka Miss Uppity Speaks, and missing in action because of our time change is our sidekick Jillian Anderson. But Jillian is going to be releasing pre-recorded thoughts, so she'll be sending her commentaries every week, and we'll have her back like we're used to having. Okay, all right, so we're gonna take a short break and we'll be right back. Don't you touch that dial, stay with us. Let's talk about it. We're coming right back.
It's what we've been taught to believe, but don't you be deceived. Southern trees bearing strange fruit, blood on the leaves and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze. Strange fruit hanging on the poplar trees. Pastoral scenes of the gallant sound, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, scents of magnolias, sweet and fresh, the sight and smell burning flesh. Here is the fruit for the crows to pluck, for the rain to gather, and the wind to sow. To drop. This is the strange. This is the strange. This is the strange. And bitter.
Immigration's always been an issue that inflames passions. That's not surprising. You know, there are few things that are more important to us as a society than who gets to come here and call our country home. Who gets the privilege of becoming a citizen of the United States of America. That's a big deal. When we talk about that in the abstract, it's easy sometimes for the discussion to take on a feeling of us versus them. And when that happens, a lot of folks forget that most of us used to be them. We forget that. I mean, it's really important for us to remember our history. You know, unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you. You know, Ken Salazar, he's of Mexican American descent, but he points out that his family's been living where he lives for 400 years, so he didn't immigrate anywhere. The Irish, who left behind a land of famine. The Germans, who fled persecution. The Scandinavians, who arrived eager to pioneer out west. The Polish, the Russians, the Italians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the West Indians, the huddled masses who came through Ellis Island on one coast and Angel Island on the other. You know, all those folks, before they were us, they were them. And when each new wave of immigrants arrived, they faced resistance from those who were already here. They faced hardship. They faced racism. They faced ridicule. But over time, as they went about their daily lives, as they earned a living, as they raised a family, as they built a community, as their kids went to school here, they did their part to build a nation. They were the Einsteins and the Carnegies, but they were also the millions of women and men whose names history may not remember, but whose actions helped make us who we are, who built this country, hand by hand, brick by brick. They all came here knowing that what makes somebody an American is not just blood or birth, but allegiance to our founding principles and the faith in the idea that anyone from anywhere can write the next great chapter of our story.
Oh, Jackie, that was wonderful. It went into silence in about 17 seconds left, but I realized that you had finished that particular clip of his speech. That was an absolute wonderful speech.
Yes.
As the president is so good at speaking to the people. And of course, the Republicans always hear, he wants to take your guns!
Well, Brenda, you know, I just wanted to say in reference to that, for anybody who did not know, that is a clip from the speech that President Obama gave today in Las Vegas.
Yes.
And when I heard that, when he gave that little riff about before
they were us, they were them. Mm-hmm.
And I, you know, it's like, you know, the president has always been awesome rhetorically,
mm-hmm.
A great orator. But I have to tell you, he has been doing some just excellent work.
Okay,
lately. I mean, he's been, you know, his inaugural address.
His inaugural address was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he started to really. I think the president is feeling his Wheaties or something.
Okay, and the more that he speaks,
mm-hmm.
and gives these messages that bring us together, these messages of unity.
Yes.
The more he speaks, the more the gun. Oh, he just said he's gonna take our guns. That's all they hear.
Yes.
He's divisive. He's divisive. He's divisive.
Mm-hmm.
He's none of that. They understand.
Yeah.
They hear what they want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, they constantly had this thing that the president hates black people, the president hates white people, and the president he's divisive and
he hates everybody.
And he hates everybody.
Yes.
And no matter who the hell you are, you can't. You just don't see it. So you just got to live in that hate where you got to keep that going. But boy, he has been landing some beautiful speeches, Jackie, that really rip at your heartstrings. Yeah. If you got a heart.
Oh, yeah.
I think the Republicans are still trying to find the Wizard of Oz. Because each day they continue to show that they don't have a heart.
Yeah, well, I want to talk now about the us and them thing.
Okay, let's go.
I want to talk about this in the context of the immigration debate.
Okay.
And the reason I came up with us and them is for a couple of other reasons, too, that will become more apparent as the show goes on. Mm-hmm. But first, I want to start about the immigration debate. And that is that the Republicans seem to believe that every person who is in this country without papers came here from Mexico.
Okay, Jackie.
And that just is so far from the truth.
It's so far from the truth, but then they don't know the truth.
Yes, and then it shows up within the context of this debate, because when Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, was talking about there's got to be border control and enforcement and all this, so they always talk about securing the border. Well, who is going to secure the airports?
And Jackie,
what I mean by that is that more than half of the people who are in this country without documentation flew in here on a visa and overstayed their visa, whether it was a student visa or a worker's visa or whatever it is. When you get a visa to come here from another country, mm-hmm. It's a temporary thing.
They overstayed it, Jackie.
Leave the country, when your visa expires.
That's right.
And so those are the majority of people who are here, not folks who came across our southern border. Mm-hmm. But for some reason, that's just lost on them. And well, for some reason, I think the main reason for a lot of the Republicans is that these folks are brown.
Yes.
They just don't want any more brown folks.
They don't want any more brown folks here.
There's even a senator from Texas, I believe that it is Senator Cruz, mm-hmm. wanted to put a proviso in the immigration law where if you become a new citizen, you can't vote for 25 years. Well, if you can't vote, you can't be considered a citizen now, can you?
Okay. Jackie, they are always trying to take somebody else's rights away.
It is phenomenal, is it not?
They enjoy all of these rights, but they don't want you to have it, us to have it. It's them. Them are the ones that gets to vote. And again, we're right back here where it's scary that they are trying to change the laws to keep us from voting.
Oh.
They know, Jackie, and I've said this for 2 years, they know that they don't have a snowball's chance in hell of ever winning the presidency again after blowing through the $7 trillion surplus that Bill Clinton left them, blowing through it, and then adding another 5 or 7 to it, crashing the country. And then Barack comes in, and they never talk about this. He has, the budget has diminished by over $4 billion or something since Barack has been in office. Healthcare, this is really going to change things, change the weight on hospitals. And what did Romney say? Oh, we have a system for the poor. They go to the hospital. That's what they're just absolutely not credible. And they know they're never going to win again. And so what do? They want to stop you and me and us from voting.
Yes, and really, I wonder if you have any news for us on that front about your wonderful governor there in Florida, because I did see a story very briefly where he was talking about restoring the days, and he still has not said, I made a mistake.
No, he won't say that, Jackie, but he has agreed.
I was trying to help Mitt Romney win the presidency. He still hasn't said any of those things.
No, he doesn't want to say that, but remember his one of the his assistants or somebody in his cabinet been talking the paint off the walls, telling the Justice Department to keep himself out of jail. That was the plan. We talked about this guy throughout the year. And
you mean the guy who was the former head of the Republican
that's right.
in Florida? Yeah,
that's correct. The former head of the RNC here. He's been singing like a bird. And I was just amazed that, election is coming up for his butt.
I can't believe this guy really isn't going to run for re-election. I just can't believe it.
Okay, Jackie, with his numbers being lower than his favorability rate being lower than gonorrhea.
Yes.
He is going to run again.
Yes.
And after he put all these Florida citizens through that, after he put us all through that, this purging, and then they said that 200,000 people walked away from the polls because they just couldn't wait anymore. And then they still got the brakes beat off of them.
That's right.
As they asked him over and over about why he went to court to reduce these laws. And then, of course, we have Charlie Crisp just singing like a bird. And when Charlie Crisp was a Republican, he extended those hours, these early voting hours.
Absolutely.
He praised the get the souls to the polls.
Yeah, and I remember that day, that election day, that Charlie Crisp did that. And I remember he came out and he made a public statement, and what impressed me about it was that he was determined to make sure that everybody who wanted to cast a vote was going to get a chance to do it.
That's right.
Because he said that was his responsibility as governor. Listen,
if Charlie Crisp wants to be governor again, he will. But Rick Scott is wasting his money and his time.
Yeah.
After being rated the lowest governor in the United States for the past few years he's been in office. I mean, this man cut our education system, started closing schools immediately. When he got here, cut our education system by $2 billion, only to do what, Jackie? A year later, I'm going to give y'all $1 billion back. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Wasted $2 million of taxpayers' money because he was going to prove that all the Negroes in Florida and the illegals, we were all on food stamps and we were doing drugs.
Well, and I thought that was also to help his company make some money.
Oh, it was. Absolutely, because whose company did the drug testing? His.
Yes.
And what did he find? Less than 1% of folks that got food stamps and cash assistance from the state. Less than 1% of them did drugs.
Well, but Brenda, he seems to forget that drugs are expensive.
Okay. And these people are trying.
Why on earth are you going to be buying drugs?
As Chris Matthews says, these people are trying to go to work. They're trying to survive. And when you got a Walmart that many of them work for and cannot make it. There was a big article the other day, Jack, I don't know if you read it, saying that Walmart could easily afford to pay its employees $12 an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they could, because each one of the children are billionaires.
Yeah.
I don't understand it. They don't want anybody educated. You got to be crippled, blind, crazy, and dumb.
Yeah. Well, Brenda, I just think that just like we were talking before about the GOP as it exists now and their underlying assumptions and all of those other things, this is simply what they believe. And it doesn't have to make any sense. It is what they believe. That's
right. It doesn't. And they, every time they say, we got to get our message out better. You did, boo. You got your message out loud and clear to us.
Just fine, yes.
Just fine. And here we have, them buying the Ayn Rand statue and praising it, and that, oh my goodness. I mean, Jackie, what you told us about Ayn Rand, which I'd never read about it, never heard of her until we heard Paul Ryan.
I'm surprised at that because, you weren't forced to read Ayn Rand in college?
No, I was not. And,
oh my goodness!
And until we heard Paul Ryan praising her,
yes,
then that's when Ayn Rand became
Well, and the thing that was funny to me, I remember the first time that I heard that, and Paul Ryan was this big fan of Ayn Rand. Okay, and I said to myself, I'm so stupid. I'm such an idiot, right?
Right.
Now I said to myself, well, that's really strange because, he's this devout Catholic and Ayn Rand was an atheist. Mm-hmm. And all of her ideology is based on atheism and selfishness and self-serving
Yeah.
motives.
Yeah.
And so I was just surprised at that, and I was surprised, that he would come out and say those things. And so then, a few months later, there was a story that came out about, I think maybe it was the Catholic nuns who wrote this thing about how his budget was inhuman.
Inhumane,
It was inappropriate for someone who was Catholic to be so devoted to the ideology of an avowed atheist and all this other stuff. And then shortly after that, Paul Ryan comes out saying that this idea that he is devoted to Ayn Rand's ideology is an urban legend. When we all heard him say it, when there was video and audio and all this stuff of him saying it, and I said to myself, surely this man knew this. I mean, surely if this woman's ideology is so important to him, he did take the trouble to learn something about the woman herself.
Of course, he knew who she was. He knew all of what she believed, and he believed it too. This is another amazing thing about
her being an atheist and all this other stuff.
Yeah, he knew it. He knew it, Jackie. I'm totally convinced that he knew it.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you are, because what that said to me was that this guy was a lightweight. There are a lot of people who like to parade around and pretend that they're intellectuals. Really are not. They're lazy. They don't do their research. They don't dig. They don't go into the underlying cause of anything. They just hear an idea and they run with it.
Well, Jackie, if he didn't know, too bad, because just the fact that he called her name, and the fact that he said that he loved her writings.
Yeah, and that's what inspired him to go into politics.
That's right. Enjoyed her books. You ain't got to say anymore, because, and I'm glad that we're talking about this, because I want our audience to know this and hear this. Anytime you hear some bitch say that they love and respect Ayn Rand's readings and writings and run. Don't walk.
And I was about to say, and Ayn Rand is most famous for writing fiction. She's a fiction writer.
Okay.
So, we do find inspiration in works of fiction sometimes, but we always have to remember that it's fiction.
Yeah, and if you believe
Rand had this bizarre notion that you could somehow separate politics from economics. I'm still trying to get that. I still can't understand how that works.
Yeah, so when I hear these men speak, these Republican men, or any person, when you hear any person speak and they're praising somebody like that, don't walk, run. You know what their beliefs are. It's amazing. They always got their guns and their Bibles, and these people don't pay attention to one damn word that the Bible says, because the first thing that Jesus wants you to do is to feed his children. They're trying to stop abortion. I dare one of them to adopt one of these starving children.
Oh yeah,
right here.
And it isn't just that. It is that with this whole, abortion issue. Even though you might believe that it's murder and all of that other stuff, that is not what the law says. And a lot of people would say that when you look at these folks, 20 babies massacred in Connecticut, and they're still talking about how...
Okay, Jackie, doesn't that tell you that they don't give a shit? Yeah. They just love to be in somebody else's business. Republicans just love to tell you what to do. And they swear big government, but they want big government, according to Rick Santorum. He wants cameras in our bedroom to make sure we ain't hitting it from the back.
Every time you say that
we ain't pucking dog style. When have you heard Barack want to put cameras in your room? But the government, they just want No, you are the bastards that want.
Brenda.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Settle down now. Let's calm down now.
That's right, Jackie. That is your job, to keep me calm.
Yeah, just calm down now. I just want to make one other point about the voter fraud stuff and the voter suppression, and then we can go on to my commentary.
Yes.
Okay? All right, but I just ran across the story and I had to share it with you. It's so funny. This is on Huffington Post. A woman named Roxanne Rubin, who is a Nevada Republican, accepted a plea deal today after committing voter fraud.
So
now,
what?
and the point I want to make.
Wait a minute. What did you say? Say for me in the audience. Say that one more time.
Okay. Roxanne Rubin, who is a Nevada Republican, accepted a plea deal today after committing voter fraud. She was charged with committing voter fraud.
Say it ain't so.
Well, the election.
Say it ain't so.
It's so, Brenda. I'm so sorry. And can I just give you a little, because the thing that we have talked about all the time is the Republicans are always talking about voter fraud and this, that, and the other, but the only folks who ever been busted for voter fraud are Republicans.
Okay, Jackie, I'm sorry. Let me invite Sam O to the chat room, even though he's leaving. He says, Brenda, sorry, too much left-wing stuff for me. I'll go listen to Herman Cain for real politics. Jackie, anybody listen to Herman Cain and Sarah Palin? I don't know. Ride the short bus. Okay, Sam, you got it. I give you permission. Well, if you want some comedy, you can get all them things twirling around in your head. If you want a little comedy, Herman Cain is the one to see because he knows not shit about politics. And nothing else. He knows about womanizing. He knows about.
I would love to hear why Sam thinks that Herman Cain. I mean, maybe he's just playing with us. Maybe.
I hope he just playing with us because if he think he fixing to get, hey Jackie, in the words of Festus, if he think he fixing to get any learning from Herman Cain, he got a long road to hoe.
Yeah.
He got all them things twirling in his head. But he got so many things twirling in his head, Jack. He could probably teach him up.
No, well, seriously, I would like to know.
Well, I think he's already gone. But, Sam, if you're listening, Jackie would like to know why it is that you think that you would get anything from Herman Cain.
Yeah. Anyway.
But welcome to the chat room, Sam.
We don't... left-wing stuff. I love that. But let me anyway finish about Miss Rubin, okay?
Yes, please.
Miss Rubin, let's see, she pled guilty and accepted a plea deal, forcing her to pay $2,500, and she promised to stay out of trouble. But now this is the best thing that happened, okay? This is the best thing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
This woman, she's 56, and she's a casino worker in Las Vegas. She was arrested on November 3rd, 2012, after trying to vote twice. Now, no, it gets better, okay? She went to her polling place in Henderson, and she went to her polling place. She voted once. Okay, she voted once at her polling site in Henderson, and then she went to a second site in Las Vegas. The poll worker at the second site told her that she had already voted, and Rubin insisted that she hadn't, and she insisted on casting a ballot. And the poll worker refused to give her a ballot because they knew she'd already voted.
Right.
You're going to love this shit. Because Rubin says that the reason she was doing that was she was trying to show how easy it would be to commit voter fraud.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that because that's what I was saying to myself. Well, her excuse to the court now is that she was just trying to show how easy it was.
Well, obviously it isn't because her ass got arrested.
Jackie, she was just trying to show how flawed the system was. I'm certain of it. I'm certain of it. That's all she was doing. And I knew before you said that would be her defense once her dumb ass got arrested.
Well, it just seemed to be that she proved that voter fraud is kind of hard.
Okay, Jackie, they knew right away that you've already voted, boo. You can't vote no more. But you going to insist on it. Okay, your ass going to jail.
Isn't that funny?
Jackie, they are amazing. It's funny as hell.
Isn't that funny?
Earlier, Catman, Wildcat Radio wrote in the chat room that what did he say? He said something about the Republicans were always the ones, everything they complain about that's happening.
Yes.
That we doing, and the Democrat, everything they complain about happening, they're the ones doing it.
It was called projection. A psych major, you know this shit.
Yeah, lying, cheating, projection. It's called yo ass. That's what that's called, Jackie. Yo ass. Y'all are always the one. Listen, if anytime a Republican come up and start accusing somebody of something, trust me, they're the ones that's doing it.
Yeah,
they got rid of Acorn. They got rid of Acorn, and then the Republican Party paid that no good, no hustle jailbird with a reputation of cheating. Gave him.
But they knew.
They knew he knew how to cheat, and they hired him and gave him $3 million.
Because they needed some cheating.
And then
they wanted to cheat. They did that.
And then 2-3 months into his cheating, he had about 7 or 8 months to help the Republicans win the election. And 2-3 months into his cheating, we gotta let him go. We ain't know that.
Oh, right, absolutely.
You got rid of Acorn because they were registering too many people. So Barack and Michelle went to work by them damn selves. Them and the Democratic Party said, okay, you got rid of Acorn, no problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too, that I think is really funny, is that all of these things that the Republicans have been going through, all their lying and cheating, it just hasn't helped them.
It has done nothing, Jackie, but...
It hasn't helped them since the 2010 election.
Yeah, it's done nothing but jumped up and bitten them in the ass again.
Well, because they are getting people are angry at them.
Oh, yeah, and Wildcat Radio, I know what I was going to... Wildcat said Ann Coulter was the only one of them that was right. She said to them early, 3 years ago, if we don't run Christie, Romney will be the nominee and we'll lose.
Well, if they would have lost it, they'd run Christie too. But that's
they'd lost it, they'd run Christie too. But
look, B, it's commentary time.
Yes, it is. So we know that Jackie is flanked by R&B crooner, my good friend Cheyenne Anthony, singing "Makes Me Wanna Holler." Because Jackie's commentaries always are so damn good, but they still make you wanna holler. So let's go to Jackie's commentary of the week, flanked by Cheyenne Anthony. You're listening to Let's Talk About It right here at Spreaker.com.
Young man on the street can't get a job with a college degree. Poverty everywhere, billions spent, don't know where. Taxes and gas too high, lower income levels pay the price. Diseases everywhere, pollution all in our air. Makes me wanna holler, we don't seem to care. Makes me wanna holler, chaos everywhere. We don't seem to care. Makes me wanna holler, we don't seem to care.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this edition of Miss Uppity Speaks. Today's topic is 3/5. In the Commonwealth of Virginia, Republican state legislators have made it known that they would like to change the way electoral votes are apportioned for presidential elections. Their big idea? To apportion electors by congressional district. If this system had existed during the 2012 presidential election, Mitt Romney would have won a majority of the electoral votes from the state of Virginia. And if this system had existed in the other so-called swing states, on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, Mitt Romney would have been sworn in as the 45th president of these United States, having won just 47% of the popular vote. The Republican idea to rig the Electoral College in order to gain an advantage that they have not earned is not a new idea. Actually, it is a very old idea. Quite simply, it is a 21st century version of the Three-Fifths Compromise of 1787. This compromise was forged at the Constitutional Convention in Philadelphia. It provided for 3/5 of the slave population to be counted for purposes of representation in the new federal government. And what a sweet deal that was for the southern states. Since slaves couldn't vote, slaveholders gained the benefit of increased representation in the House and the Electoral College. This disproportionate representation relative to voters resulted in Southerners dominating the presidency, House speakership, and Supreme Court up until the Civil War. Perhaps you think I'm overstating my argument. I mean, isn't it over the top to compare today's Republican Party to the brutal slave owners of times past? Well, just consider the real-world effect of this proposed reapportionment scheme. It would make Republican votes for president count more than Democratic votes, just as the Three-Fifths Compromise served to make white slaveholders' votes count for more than free white Northerners' votes, the result of which helped to maintain and expand the institution of slavery and lead the nation into armed conflict. This latest scheme to marginalize certain voters is not fair, and it is not democratic. It is nothing more than a coup d'etat by statute. And that does it for this edition of Miss Uppity Speaks. Please be sure to find me on Facebook at Miss Uppity Speaks or at Let's Talk About It.
Oh, I love it. The crowd loves it. The monkeys love it. I love it, Jackie. 3/5.
Yes.
And what are they trying to do? They're trying to get the 3/5 back, Jackie, or what?
I was about to say, and I'm not talking about 3/5 suburban either.
These Republicans are amazing. What's happening right now is truly amazing. And I'm going to be saying this, y'all, for the next year, 4 years. Don't sit down. I know it's been a long election and we were involved daily. And we have got to stay involved daily because what they're trying to do is amazing. And they're trying to take our voters' rights away completely. When I first heard that mess last week that they were trying to fix this so that even if you win, you lose. And that would always serve them because they're going to continue to lose because nobody believes that the Republicans are going to represent this country again. Is going to represent its people. They only get money for their buddies, for them and their buddies. That's all they want. It's just to have power. You know, we heard a video earlier when the presidential election was going on of I heard a video and saw one of Mitt Romney talking about when he joined the team for the Olympics. Mm-hmm. And they constantly talk about how he turned the Olympics around. And in one of his team meetings, he said, you go where the money is. And where is the money? In Washington. And he got $410 million to help turn the Olympics around from the government. It's all right.
I mean, and the thing about it is that when he said that, he was absolutely correct.
He absolutely was correct.
Why be a hypocrite about it?
Because they can't help but be hypocrites, Jackie. That's all they do. That's just like the Sandy 36. 31 of the 36, just 3-4 days, not 3-4-6 months a year ago, 3-4 days before they voted no to the Sandy victims, mm-hmm. for them to get a financial relief. They had already written and asked for money for their states. So they wanted money for their states put into this bill. Uh-huh. And when they couldn't get that, they voted no on the bill.
Uh-huh. Money for their states that had already gotten billions and billions of dollars.
Okay, now Jackie,
they need some more.
This country raised up, and we sent money to Haiti, and we send money everywhere.
Yes.
The Americans really chip in. I mean, I do it too. I either give to the Red Cross or I let them charge $10 to my cell phone.
I mean, and we all do that.
We all jump in. We find a way of how to help our people, how to help each other, and that's what we do. We the people, we are one. That's why I love our theme song that Brenda Lee Ager wrote and produced and sang so much, because we really are one, and we can't do anything alone.
Yeah, well, that is what, the president, the idea that the president is really pushing now. When he said during his first term, he talked about perfecting our union. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved that. Mm-hmm. I think that's just a lovely phrase. Mm-hmm. Okay. And today, in his speech on immigration, he was talking about what it is that makes us a nation. We are not one people by birth or by blood or religious affiliation. Mm-hmm. We are one nation because of our beliefs and our fidelity mm-hmm. to an idea. Mm-hmm. And I love that word too, fidelity. That's a beautiful mm-hmm. So, but if you are someone who only thinks that your citizenship is good for what you can get, mm-hmm. then you're in deep doo. And if if you're a person who believes that you should be able to say who is and who is not a citizen, who is or who is not a patriot. If you are a person who determines citizenship by skin color or religious belief, mm-hmm. then you don't. You shouldn't be over here in America, because that's not what this nation was founded on. Oh, let me tell you something else, too.
Okay.
That I find really interesting. Last night I started reading the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass. Mm-hmm. Okay? And one of the things that he wrote about, one of the things that I realized in reading, especially the first part of this book, mm-hmm. There's an introduction by a couple of white abolitionists, okay, at the mm-hmm. beginning of this book. And one of the things that I did not realize about the abolitionist movement was that even though there were people in Massachusetts, because these guys were all in Massachusetts, that's mm-hmm. where Frederick Douglass fled to after he escaped slavery. Mm-hmm. The white people of the North didn't necessarily like black folks or anything like that.
Right.
They just thought that slavery was wrong. Mm-hmm. And especially in a place like Massachusetts, where they, felt that, the founders came here, Plymouth Rock, all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And that they believed that no one should be enslaved on American soil. Mm-hmm. Because that's where the Pilgrims came, escaping oppression, mm-hmm. slavery. And they just felt that slavery was wrong. There was no doubt that black people were human beings. Mm-hmm. And they objected to one person being the property of another. It wasn't that they just loved black folks so much, because mm-hmm. there were plenty of racists in the North.
They were just kind of open-minded. They just didn't believe that people should be slaves.
Exactly correct.
Like your animal.
Exactly correct. And they felt that if you enslaved one person, that diminished all people. Mm-hmm. That was what they believed.
Human dignity.
I found this really interesting. It's always cool. I mean, one of the things
your human dignity was lost if you were enslaving another person. How can you do it and be
yes, and
proud?
The other thing too is I always loved reading what people wrote back in the 19th century. I mean, the way they wrote just always killed me. Yeah, but anyway, so I and that's something I never quite got, even though I get it now that I'm reading this book. But yeah, that's very, very cool. And the other thing is that it concerns me that so much of our public discourse sounds so much like the crap that was going on before the Civil War started. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? That's why I wrote that 3/5 thing.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of this seems to stem from like just an update of the black codes and that kind of shit. I mean, if you really stop and think about it, that's where we are.
Jackie, today there were hearings and the and some of the parents of the Newtown, Connecticut victims were speaking, and some gun owner jumped up and heckled one of the fathers.
Yes.
These people just something
is wrong.
Something is wrong. I mean, we've got a whole community of people that need medication. Again, I'm not going to lose my gun. I don't want to lose my gun. And Barack Obama and the rest of these decent folks are not talking about taking away your gun from your home. They're talking about you owning what was meant to be a military, for the military only.
Yes.
These assault rifles.
Yes.
You know, maybe y'all can go to the range and you know, which I'm sure you can right now. Just go there and shoot up watermelons and shit. But you know, you're constantly taking these things into some school, some mall. I wonder if because I don't shop in the mall, if I'm paranoid and didn't even know it, because y'all are just crazy here lately.
Well, you know, and then if you want to hear another, since you're on the gun thing, what I would really like to say is that my mom called me today because she was so outraged that the Arkansas State Legislature is considering a bill that would allow people to carry firearms in church.
Oh, Jackie, please.
And my husband goes, "What's wrong with that?" A lot's wrong with that.
We already have folks carrying their guns in church and shooting.
Yes, I know.
And we don't want to make it any more accessible.
Really upset mother about it is that, you know, the governor of the state of Arkansas is a Democrat named Mike Beebe. And she said, and then Governor Beebe came out today and said if the bill made it out of the legislature to his desk, he would sign it. What the hell's wrong with these people? It's like, you know, Mom, I don't know. Because why would you need to bring your gun to church?
Good God Almighty, Jack.
And
why do you need?
We're talking about conceit.
I know your husband is in the background. I can hear.
Yes, he's going to shoot somebody. Oh my goodness.
Jackie's husband is all wise. I swear. Yeah, I mean, Jackie, why do you need a bill to even talk about such a thing?
I know.
Taking your gun to church. Why do you need a bill for that?
Yes, and then another thing she said the state legislature is considering is passing a law that would require people who get public assistance, you know, food stamps and that kind of thing, to take a drug test. And my mother told me, she said, why on earth would they need to do that? Like, don't we have any real problems?
Listen, and once again, our great governor, Rick Scott, has already proven that people that receive public government assistance are not the ones on drugs. I'm going to tell you who the ones on drugs. That's some bitch that they arrested that worked for Citibank, a vice president that worked for Citibank, had a $30,000 a month penthouse.
Yeah.
And what was he doing up in there? Cooking crack. They said he barely had furniture. They said he had a bed. But the rest of these rooms in his penthouse were lit up like Christmas trees, growing marijuana. And
so he was into it, huh?
That's right. And breaking them down cocaine and cooking crack. And when they arrested him, I think he had his drawers on. I don't think he was even dressed. Now, Jackie, how can you be a vice president for Citibank? You ain't even going. You cannot be going to work.
Brenda, listen.
He could have blown up the whole freaking city block.
Brenda, listen. When I lived in San Francisco, there was a campaign. There was an anti-drug campaign going on in the city, and there's always an anti-drug campaign going on somewhere. But one of my favorite posters that they would put up all over the place about this was it showed a picture of a good-looking white male in a three-piece suit carrying a briefcase. And the caption read, "Your typical drug addict." That's what it said.
Typical drug addict and your typical drug dealer.
Yes. And so people always think of drug addicts as being, somebody who's homeless and on the street.
Yeah, and black.
Other stuff.
Yeah.
But when you think about what drugs cost.
Okay. We ain't the ones.
Who can afford to buy them?
Again, Rush Limbaugh. Perfect example. $4,200 a week.
Yes.
He was spending on drugs.
And the other thing about that too is that just like the story that I read earlier about the woman in Las Vegas who was arrested for voter fraud.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's just so funny. I was just trying to show how easy it would be. Well, obviously it's not easy because your ass was arrested.
Okay, because your ass was in jail.
That's right. But, just like with Rush Limbaugh and his whole issues around drug use, he never spent a day in jail. Never. He never apologized. It was all, they persecute me.
All he did and tried.
It was never, I've got a problem. What is this about the party of personal responsibility? That they can't look at themselves and say, oh, I got a problem.
Hell no.
I got to make this right.
Hell no. And Jackie, until that black maid made sense to the officials, they were ready to, they had her. She was going there. Wait a minute. I'm buying these drugs for Rush Limbaugh. No, she not. Them ain't my drugs. She said, I purchased $4,200 a week in drugs for him every week. Where in the hell do I get $4,200 a week from? And why the hell do I need to be a maid?
Yeah.
If I got that kind of money, then, maybe she was getting them drugs for his fat ass. I mean, come on, boys, think about it. Makes sense. But he was going to throw her ass under the bus.
And that is just crazy, isn't it, Brenda?
Yeah, when I'm sure that all he was...
not an ounce of contrition from this man.
No, and didn't get laid off of his job. He went 30 days to Betty Ford, and he's still getting high. And when y'all see him up there sweating like that, that's that shit coming out of him. You watch him with his fat ass in that chair every day. He's sweating. Ain't no Betty Ford broke his drug habit in no damn 30 days.
No. Well,
he's still rich. He's still getting high. And I'm surprised his fat ass was even fat.
No. Look, well, that's just because he has lots and lots of money.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
Drugs to say that. But Brenda, look, you can't say that. I mean, maybe the man has broken his drug habit. It's possible.
I sang at that party for him in 2000.
But this is your opinion, though. And
look, I sang at that party for him in 2008, and he was sweating like a crackhead.
Me? Excuse me. I'm always trying to help you out.
Okay, our attorney.
Always just keep stepping in it.
What's the name of our attorney?
Stepping in it.
What's the name of our attorney?
Algonquin J. Calhoun.
Okay, yeah, y'all call Algonquin.
Look,
okay, and shall we say together, for entertainment purposes only?
Yes.
Okay. So my thing talking about Rush's fat ass just for entertainment. Okay? That was my comedy side coming out. All right. I don't know what the fat ass was doing, but I said, all right, go on head on, Jackie. Jackie said, I thought I just saved you by entertainment, by reciting the disclaimer, and then you gonna come back. Hey, Jackie, I've been listening to the Republicans too long, haven't I? We need to change our tone. What we don't need to do is talk about people and put them down. Now, what we're going to start doing now is making folks understand a little bit more that Barack Obama got y'all on food stamps. That's what I changed my tone like the Republicans, don't I, Jackie?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's how they changed their tone.
That is, but the entire point of all of this, and the other thing too, Bren, is I would really like for us to start. I know that beating up the Republicans is fun and they make us really mad.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that I'm promising you and I'm promising the listeners is that I am going to start looking for something good to talk about.
Well, you look for something
one
good.
section of the show. There's something positive and wonderful that has happened in our political life, and I know that that's going to be hard to find. That's probably a full-time job.
Well, we're doing that when we play these most uplifting speeches by our president.
Yes.
And you know, coming up this February.
Yeah.
We all know that it is Black History Month,
yes.
right? And so, right here at Let's Talk About It, I will be playing some of the president's most wonderful clips, as well as some Martin Luther King clips. I'm going to inundate you with quite a bit of that on each and every one of my shows, so that we can get this out, this message of peace and love and stuff out, which we really feel. Yeah, I really feel it.
And you have to be happy warriors, because what has become evident over these past couple of years is that we are in a battle. This is I know that we laugh about things and get outrageous and all of that, but
yes.
On a serious note.
On a serious note, we are in a serious battle.
That's right. We are in a battle, and just like I said to you just a little bit ago, the reason that I keep coming back to the Civil War stuff is because if you look at it, none of this shit is new. And the way that these arguments are breaking down and what you hear the Republican Party talking about, this is all of the same crap that they were talking about before the Civil War.
That's right,
one
Jackie.
One of the things that I'm praying for is that it doesn't come down to folks shooting each other.
Yeah,
I really don't think that we're going to get there.
Well, Chris Matthews.
But the battle is raging, in the halls of Congress and in the state houses and all those different places. That there are people, and depending on the community that you live in, they may be raging on your city council.
As they are the ones who are fighting us tooth and nails. If Barack Obama wants to give free bubble gum, say no.
But that's just the thing.
Say no.
Brenda, the president has not advocated giving away shit.
No, and he ain't advocated taking away shit, especially your guns.
Yes.
But that's all they hear. The president can say, let's bow our heads in prayer for our nation. He's talking about taking away our guns. That's all they want to hear.
The thing about these Southern guys is that, whenever President Obama quotes scripture and stuff like that, they get mad at him.
Oh, yeah.
Because you remember there was a Southern congressman that walked out of the National Prayer Breakfast last year because he didn't like what the president was talking about. And the president was talking about scripture.
Jackie, it's pure racism.
The president was talking about, treating people the way you want to be treated and about helping your neighbor.
Yeah.
And this bastard walked out because he said he didn't like what the president was talking about.
When he started, how can that make you angry? But I was about to say, Chris Matthews said last week, and boy, I thought it, but I haven't let it come out of my mouth. Not really. But Chris Matthews said last week when he found out about this new redistricting and the gerrymandering that's going on, and the Republicans trying to come up with this new thing for the Electoral College, this way of dividing the Electoral College votes, so that if you are the winner, you are the loser. Chris Matthews said, if they do this, if they succeed in this, you will see a revolution in this country. And I didn't think that day, Jackie, to hear him say what I've been thinking, it's frightening to me because we've been there, done that.
Well, but I did see that, but I don't think that Matthews was talking about, an armed revolt.
I think he was. Well, I hope he was talking about a peaceful revolution because, we don't have to pull out guns. All we have to do is 1 million of us show up in Washington.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do. Right now, they're claiming that the American people are on their side. Well, if they were on your side, they would have chosen that numbnuts that you had running for president.
But what do you mean, the Republicans?
Yeah, the Republicans are always claiming that the American people
are always saying that.
They're always claiming the American people, we're here to do that work. And they send us, the American people are on the president's side. You just got the brakes beat off your ass.
Yeah, and the only reason they still have the House is because of their creative redistricting.
Yeah, and that's what Jack and I are going to keep reminding you of with these governor and Senate races getting closer. You've got to send Democratic congressmen and Democratic senators if you want Barack's plan, his envision for America. He can tell us all of that he wants to, but if we keep sending these bastards from the Republican Party to Congress and to the Senate and allowing them to be the majority, his plans aren't going to happen for the U.S.
Yeah.
Because he can't make these laws and pass them and sign them all by himself.
No.
You know, our system doesn't work that way for a good reason, and we wish that right now it did work that way, but it doesn't, and it's called democracy, and we
have to live with it.
And we have to live with it. We ain't trying to damn it change it, because what if you get a damn president that's nuts?
Yeah, what if you get...
Yeah, you know, Richard Pryor, everybody know, Richard Pryor, Dick Nixon, Richard Nixon, everybody knows now that he was a drug addict.
Mm-hmm.
He popped prescription pills, and you could see the panic, and he was sweating like Rush Limbaugh on a bunch of those videos. He was paranoid, and he was crazy, and if he could have just made law all by himself and passed it and signed it, he would have.
Yeah.
And so then we'd be under a dictatorship. So we don't want that. So we like our democratic process. We just like to go about it in a fair manner. And so I say to you, in the many different states in our country, y'all need to send your democratic leaders to the Senate and to the Congress, your House of Representatives and all this stuff. We need to vote democratically so that we'll have a majority, so that Barack's vision of what we wanted, the majority of us, what we wanted, can come true.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, Jackie didn't tell me that I can't do that. I guess I can't solicit money for him, but I can tell you that this is the way to vote. I can't tell you who to vote for and how to vote, but Jack and I may be calling some names of races and trying to help the different states.
Yeah, the biggest problem that we have in our country right now, in my opinion, is the way that the districts have been drawn.
Yes.
And to be fair, you know, the Democrats have done their dirt in the past as well too, but never to the extent that we are seeing now.
No.
That a huge percentage of Republicans in the Congress, they come from districts.
Jackie, would you explain gerrymandering to us one more time?
Okay, the gerrymandering comes from a man named Gerald Mander,
mm-hmm.
who was who is as far as I'll put it this way: history records that Gerald Mander was the person who thought up drawing these districts to be favorable to your party or point of view,
mm-hmm.
and that he was the first person who did that. The courts, the courts then showed themselves to be reluctant to intervene in political matters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at that time, the courts really saw themselves as being above politics. They were like the umpire.
Right.
You know, they were just to call balls and strikes, but they weren't supposed to intervene and be activists and make law.
Mm-hmm.
And so just like when the courts did not intervene for Ron Paul's people in the Republican primary,
mm-hmm.
okay, when the Republicans were changing the rules and lying and cheating to keep them quiet.
Right.
Okay, the courts refused to intervene in that. So it is hard to get the courts to intervene in things like this. I believe that is the reason that Judge Roberts did not vote to strike down the health care law.
Yeah.
Because he felt that he would have been intervening, and he felt that since there was an election coming up in a few months, that the American people would have the option to decide for themselves,
mm-hmm.
that we could decide for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
So,
Jackie, and he
anyway,
also may have felt that it's
so
time.
people started. So after Gerald Mander did this, and the courts refused to strike it down, then, you know, of course, other politicians were like, oh, well, we can do it this way, and that's why it's called gerrymandering.
Okay, very good. So it was named after Gerald Mander. Is that what you said his name was? Gerald Mander? Jackie?
Yes.
Was that what you said his name was, Gerald Mander?
I did, yes.
Okay, very good. All right, so now we understand what gerrymandering is. So,
yeah. Oh, and also, do you want me to describe what a coup d'etat is?
Please, because you said that in your commentary, and I giggled. Would you please share with us what a coup d'etat is?
Okay. Of course, it's a French phrase, and I believe that literally it means to strike down the government.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
But of course.
And and you know, I mean, the correct phrase, of course, is a coup d'etat. But we also call them coups, and usually they're staged by militaries, where a small group of people overthrow the leadership in the government and take over.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and sometimes coups last. Sometimes coups last for a very brief period of time until a new civil government is put in, or a military dictatorship is put in, and sometimes coups turn into civil war.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then of course sometimes coups fail, and the people who were trying to overthrow the government, well, you can guess what happened to them.
Yeah, and that's why our brother in here that want their assault rifles, Jackie, they want to overthrow the government, but as Wildcat Radio from Alabama said last week, I wish they would try.
Yeah. So yeah, and so
that war would last all of a day.
If that, yeah.
If that.
Yeah, so anyway, but basically it is a small group imposing their will over everybody else.
Yeah, they must know that we have the most powerful military in the world. This little group here in America that's wanting to overthrow the government, y'all have to know that, right? I'm sure that's why they haven't done any more than gone to the shooting range in the backyard and shot watermelons.
Yeah, well, you know, you know, when I wrote in my commentary that Mitt Romney would have become president with 47% of the popular vote.
Mm-hmm.
Brenda, who would stand for that? I mean, it was hard enough for us to take George W.
Nobody, and that's why, Jackie, we're saying, welcome to the chat room 108. I can't type to the chat room right now because the clickety click comes right through the microphones are very sensitive and very hot here at Spreaker. But welcome to the chat room. Nobody's going to stand for that, and that's why Chris Matthews said, if this happens, because he was just talking about that 47. That means 47 cent. Mitt Romney would have won with the 47%, and the president with 51% or whatever would have lost.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, if that happens, I'm afraid we're going to see another revolution in this country.
Yeah.
And
but, you know, Brenda, I would also like to say, though, in reference to this idea, that finally on Friday, Bob McDonnell, the governor of Virginia, said that he would veto such legislation if it ever came to his desk.
Did he?
Yes, and there are a couple of Republican senators, some of the most senior Republican senators, who said, no, we aren't doing that.
Well, you know, Jackie, someone said that Joan Walsh, she said that Bob McDonnell folds so to public pressure. And she advised us last week to put the pressure on him because he folds under public pressure. He's not that good at it because he first was claiming he didn't know anything about that bill. I don't know nothing about that. I didn't. I don't know if I'll sign it or not.
I just want to also let you know that also in Florida, believe it or not, in Florida where you live, there are Republican state legislators who said, no, we're not going to do that.
Oh, Jackie, that is so wonderful to hear.
In Florida, especially, you know, there are some states where they better not even breathe anything like that because their rep is so bad in the first place.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of Floridians are just embarrassed. They are embarrassed about what happened in the year 2000. They are embarrassed about what happened in the election of 2012. They are embarrassed about this shit.
And Jackie, it wouldn't be so embarrassing if you didn't have any proof that, you know.
Yeah, I guess you got a point.
It happens, and it is happening, and it did happen, and it wasn't our imagination.
Yes.
The Republicans are like they are like thugs that rob a bank or whatever. They cannot shut the fuck up. They got to tell it.
Yes.
They got to get on video and tell it.
Yes.
And then people are saying, "What the? Did he just say that he did that?" I mean, what in the world did Rick Scott go to court? Now, wasn't that taxpayer dollars lost and wasted?
Yes.
Why did he go to court and fight tooth and nail? He tried to take away all 15 days of our early voting.
Mm-hmm. Oh, did he?
Yes, and the courts only took away 8 of those 15.
Okay, I thought that he was just trying to cut them in half, but he was.
Oh no, he went for the jugular.
The whole enchilada.
He went for the whole enchilada, baby. He went there to cut all 15 days away. He went there to destroy, get your souls to the polls. That was this thing done by the black community.
Yeah.
Because, black folks gonna go to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And that had become a very promising thing, that you knew on Sunday the vans were gonna pull up and they were gonna take the sisters in their hats and dresses and
yes.
and they were gonna take them to vote. We ain't got to run all around through the neighborhood. We go to the church and get these bus loads.
Yes.
And so he knew that had been a successful thing.
Yes.
And something that the black community was very proud of here in Florida. So he went there to get rid of that. Now, how in the take away Sunday voting and take away the 15 early votes and stop that souls to the poll thing? What in the world? Why would you do it?
Yeah.
Because you knew you couldn't win. And that was your way of cheating. Now, Jackie, I wouldn't feel so bad if we were just speculating.
Yeah.
But we know what he did. And the courts only took away 8 of the days. But for his long, tall, stinking ass to come back a few months later and y'all, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. I'm going to put them 8 days back. I'm going to give y'all them days back of early voting. You are still dead in the water. You will not be a second-term governor in this state. Yeah. Don't forget, your rating is below that of gonorrhea, your favorite.
Yes, well, and then not
your
only
favoritism.
That, the question is who's going to run against him? Because I don't understand how he was elected in the first place. I mean, who was running against him?
Because
I mean, who?
Because, Jackie, Alex Sink, a woman, a Democratic woman, we loved, but he blindsided her with, he had all this money and he spent $56 million of his own money.
But Brenda.
And he flooded the airways. Wildcat said he's still here. He flooded the airways, and then in the end, as they always do, he brought out his mama.
Well, Brenda.
Rick's a good boy, but Jackie, it said it all. It said everything to me when they said, when Alex Sink's crew brought out the commercial, that this man had paid $2 billion in fines for his company doing Medicare fraud. Now, Jackie, I have a problem with giving you $2 when I didn't do any wrong.
Yeah.
It ain't the $2. It's now you telling me pay a fine of $2, but I will not. I won't pay that $2 because it says, okay, I'm settling with you and I won't do it no more. I didn't do any wrong. I'm not giving it to you. But we ain't talking about $2. We ain't talking about $2,000. We ain't talking about $200,000. We ain't talking about $2 million. We talking about $2 billion that his company paid the government to keep his ass out of jail and said, sorry, I did that little cheating with that Medicare.
Well, but the thing about it, Brenda, is that everybody in the country knew that about him.
Yes, and these commercials were ran and the facts were brought out. And I guess Alex Sink and the Democratic Party just didn't have enough money to fight him, but he dumped $56 million of his own money, and then been trying to nitpick and get that back by drug testing all the Negroes in the state for.
Yeah, well, B, I know that the outrageous criminal politicians are nothing new in our country and countries around the world. But I have to tell you honestly that when he was elected, I was really starting to wonder what the hell was wrong with you people in Florida.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, too, is for someone who committed a multi-billion-dollar Medicare fraud.
Yes.
Okay.
How in the world can you run for governor? And they want to keep Negroes from voting if you've been to prison.
Brenda.
For stealing a lollipop.
Brenda.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, okay. What I was going to say
before I went off the chain,
yes, is that it is ironic that someone who committed tens of billions of dollars in Medicare fraud, how do we know this is because his company paid a $2 billion fine?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we know that they did some massive fraud.
Yes.
Him to be a person who objects to the Affordable Care Act, who objects to Obamacare.
Listen, Jackie, you know what?
You know
what his commercial said, Jackie?
What?
He said, "My opponent likes to point out that my company paid $2 billion in fines for that. Yes, we did, and I've learned from that."
What?
That's what his commercial said.
No,
he knew he
did,
could,
and I am a criminal.
He knew, he knew he couldn't deny it, Jackie. So he made a commercial saying that yes, we paid that fine. We didn't know we were committing fraud, but I've learned from that, and from that I'll be a strong.
No, we were committing fraud.
Yeah, and from that I'll be a stronger governor. I'll be a strong governor, and I've learned from that, and so you can trust me now.
Oh, Brenda.
And boy, they found out how they could trust him. Not at all.
Yeah, well,
he was pulling.
Everybody understand. Everyone, I think, really gets it now.
He was pulling shit from under the proverbial rug, huh? What, Jackie?
What you were saying about, how the Republicans have done their low down, dirty stuff, and they just want to tell somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, they want us all to know what they think of us.
Yeah.
And so now that we know.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about it.
And they'll tell us you didn't hear us say what we said.
Yeah, exactly. So, you don't have to worry about me voting for you, sweetie.
I did shoot that monkey 10 times, but I told you I shot him. So therefore, you didn't hear me say that.
Yes.
But everything they do, they tell it. They are the worst little Mitches you ever did want to meet.
Yeah,
well. Shut up. My mama said nothing runs a damn duck but its bill. And Wildcat is in the chat room writing Hillary 2016. 2016. I'm with you, Wildcat. Now, the clock on the wall is starting to say that's all. So I wanted to play a little something in honor of Black History Month starting up next month. Or next week, even February. And I'm going to be doing this all the month long. So I've got an early start. And I'm going to play one. And then Jackie and I are going to say goodnight to you. And thank you so much for joining us. Tell somebody to tell somebody to come over to Spreaker.com and check out Let's Talk About It right here. Every Tuesday night from 9 until 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you like the show, go over to Facebook and like our page. Let's Talk About It. It's just that simple. Go over there and like it. And if you like Jackie's commentary, as I know you all do, go over to Miss Uppity Speaks on Facebook and like her page too, okay? Okay, now let's go with the Hollies. And then we're going to play a little, well, I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to play. I'm just going to play it, all right? Okay, stay where you are. Don't touch that dial.
The road is long with a many winding my brother. So on we go. His welfare is my concern. No burden is he to bear. We'll get there. For I know he would not encumber me. He ain't heavy. He's my brother.
For we,
If I'm a leader,
the people, understand that our country cannot succeed when a shrinking few do very well and a growing many barely make it. We, the people, still believe that every citizen deserves a basic measure of security and dignity. We, the people, still believe that our obligations as Americans are not just to ourselves, but to all posterity. We, the people, still believe that enduring security and lasting peace do not require perpetual war. We, the people, declare today that the most evident of truths, that all of us are created equal, is the star that guides us still. Just as it guided our forebears through Seneca Falls and Selma and Stonewall, just as it guided all those men and women, sung and unsung, who left footprints along this great mall, to hear a preacher say that we cannot walk alone, to hear a king proclaim that our individual freedom is inextricably bound to the freedom of every soul on earth.
he ain't heavy. He's my brother. He's my brother. He ain't heavy. He's my brother. He ain't heavy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I do love that song by the Hollies. He ain't heavy, he's my brother. And of course, you heard that wonderful clip from our president, Barack Obama, We the People. I cannot get enough of that. Of course, well, I'm not going to even taint that with saying anything about the Republicans. You are listening to Let's Talk About It with the wild and wonderful Brenda White and my cohort, the uppity and well-read Jackie Lambert. And as I said before, Jillian, our woman, hear me roar, Anderson, will be plugging us with her pre-recorded thoughts. And so that's going to be fun because she's in Australia. Our time change has mixed us up a bit. But Jill will be plugging us with pre-recorded thoughts, and we're going to love having her Aussie tone back in the room with us. Okay, so join us next Tuesday night and every Tuesday night from 9 until 11 p.m. Eastern time for Let's Talk About It. Tell somebody to come on over and join us in the chat room. Now, here at Let's Talk About It, where we believe injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. And what else do we believe, Jackie?
Free your mind, honey, and your ass will follow.
And your ass will follow. And that is sure enough true. Okay, so y'all take care of yourselves and each other. And we love you, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. Oh, and join me Thursday night for Up All Night with Brenda White. And join me Friday night for Nothing But the Blues And then after Nothing But the Blues on Friday night from 12 until 3 in the morning is Daddy Boo Boo, a.k.a. Dave Capers. After hours, honey, he's going to do it to you in your ear hole. And after Up All Night with Brenda White on Thursday night, DJ Tony Sanchez follows me with The Eye of the Storm. You don't want to miss that either. Okay? We love you. Thank you for joining us. We're out. See you next Tuesday night.